Well, Jim, if Josh Rosen didn't impress you today, I don't know what will. Rosen's 351 yards, breaking the previous school record for a true freshman. That was previously held by Cade McNown. On top of that, he connected with 11 different targets. He looked confident, he looked poised, and he absolutely picked apart that Virginia defense. So is this the true freshman that Jim Mora was expecting? Jock Peterson's starting to regain some of his momentum. He had 20 home runs through June, then just 1 in July, and he's had 2 here in August, both in this series against the Reds. Mike Scioscia took an unusually long time to come out to the podium and talk to the media. He was obviously having a word with his team, and while he wouldn't comment on what he said to his team, he did say they're confident they're not out of the playoffs. The Dodgers were the only team in baseball to avoid a 4-game losing streak, but that ended tonight, and you couldn't blame the shaky bullpen. Brett Anderson gave up a season-high 7 runs tonight, including 5 consecutive hits in that awful 6th inning. So Don Mattingly says he hopes this poor pitching is just a blip, and when he was asked about how they were going to avoid turning it into a bigger blip, he said, give the ball to Zach Greinke, and Greinke will take the mound here tomorrow night at Chavez Ravine. Houston's 9th inning rally halted the Halos from gaining any more ground in the AL West. Houston Street gave up a career-high 5 runs, something that's not typical for a guy who's the AL saves leader. So the Angels have to put away their brooms as they fall to 4.5 games behind the first-place Astros. Stevie Johnson already looking to be a viable target for Phillip Rivers. He's had numerous noteworthy catches throughout training camp, including one on Monday, a diving catch in the end zone. That got the team fired up. Big news for the Chargers is Phillip Rivers inked a deal over the weekend that will have him playing for the Bolts until 2019. The contract extension includes $65 million in guaranteed money and a no-trade clause. Today, Rivers talked about why he committed to stay with the team, even though they might be moving to Los Angeles.
My lack of excitement for a potential move was more about the thought of leaving this community than it was about a disdain for L.A. And again, that's still out of our control, and nobody still knows. So at the end of the day, that the opportunity and chance to stay here and finish as a Charger was definitely more important. Unless something changes from Tom's standpoint or upstairs, I'm going to be a Charger wherever we are.
Regarding the Chargers' potential move to LA, new renderings of the proposed Carson site were released today. Carson advisor Carmen Policy also said both the Raiders and Chargers are willing to switch divisions to facilitate the joint stadium.
We guarantee success in Los Angeles because we have the best plan. Best football location, ingress, egress, parking, tailgating. The creation of a Southern California mega market, a much larger market for 2 teams to penetrate, 2 teams that are coming in simultaneously, not one coming in and getting a leg up on the other.
To baseball, Angels opening up a 4-game set with the White Sox. Albert Pujols showed some signs of life, taking Carlos Rodon deep to left field for his 2nd homer in the last 3 games. Angels take the early 1-0 lead. Now watch what happens to the home run ball. A fan reaches over while holding his daughter and almost falls over the rail. And get this, he doesn't even end up with the ball. Okay, more on that later. The Angel offense continued to struggle with only 3 hits into the 7th, but then C.J. Cron puts a charge into one, hitting a solo shot to right. That would be enough. Halos win 2-1. Dodgers news, longtime Dodger broadcaster Vin Scully is reportedly undecided about returning to call games next season. Scully usually makes his annual decision around this time of year, but for now, fans will have to wait and see what he decides. In golf, Tiger Woods announced today that he'll play in the Wyndham Championship for the first time in his career. Woods is 187th in the FedEx Cup standings and would need to finish in 2nd place in the tournament to have any shot of making the FedEx Cup playoffs next month. And it's official, Jordan Spieth is now the #1 ranked golfer in the world. Rory McIlroy held the spot for over a year, but a 2nd place finish in the PGA Championship pushed Spieth into the top spot. Spieth has 4 wins this year, including the first 2 majors of the season. And also coming up on SportsCentral at 10:40, Coach Sark talks about USC's first scrimmage.